don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a big fan of Danganronpa. I've played through all the games. I was even excited when the original anime came out. It wasn't great, but I still enjoyed it. So when it was announced that there was going to be a new anime that was a sequel to the games, I was beyond excited. This was going to wrap up everything for the students at Hope's Peak Academy and give the fate of the 77th class from Super Danganronpa 2. It was everything fans could want in a sequel. Well, kind of. I know that Lark talked a little bit about this when he did his original Danganronpa review, but for my birthday, I wanted to dive a little deeper into the final chapter of the story of Hope's Peak Academy with Danganronpa Future Arc and Danganronpa Despair Arc. The story of Future Arc begins with Makoto Naegi, the main character from the first game, being arrested for treason against the Future Foundation. This is an organization made up of alumni from Hope's Peak Academy that fight against the remnants of despair, the worst of the worst when it comes to those who follow Junko and Ashima. However, before Makoto can be tried, the entire group is surprised to be thrown into a new killing game headed by Monokuma. It doesn't take long before the members start dying off, causing the group to split and become suspicious of each other. But this isn't even the beginning of that story. The true story starts with Despair Arc, where one of the members of the Future Foundation, Chisa Yukizome, is talking about her time as a teacher at Hope's Peak Academy. And, surprise, she is the teacher of the 77th class, which was revealed in the first episode of Future Arc to be the remnants of despair. But this is back when they were all quirky and charming, some more so than others. Then again, I can't complain too much since my favorite character is literally the nicest douchebag you'll ever meet. From here, the two stories are weaved together into a mostly cohesive narrative. When Future Arc addresses a mystery during the killing game, it's usually answered in a follow-up episode of Despair Arc. Other times, events in Despair Arc lend backstories to characters in Future Arc and shed a bit more light on some of their motives. Speaking of characters, there are a lot of them. If you're caught up with the games, really the only new characters you'll have to learn are the ones they bring up in Future Arc. Even then, you don't have to learn as many as you think, because quite a few of them are dead in the first 4 episodes, most of whom don't even show up in Despair Arc. They're literally just there to be cannon fodder. Now granted, some of the characters they introduce are very interesting, like Munakata, Sakakura, and Yukizome. They have incredibly interesting chemistry and create a fantastic storyline as to why these two support Munakata so devotedly. That is, until Yukizome's role in Despair Arc. But before I delve into that, I want to talk about a few of the things I love about the series. For one, I love the new characters. They fit perfectly in the Dangan universe, with each of them having an interesting setup. My favorites are Rurika and Yayoi. They have a fantastic relationship, with him being completely devoted to her, even though Rurika is kind of the worst human being in the series. I also hadn't realized how much I missed seeing Junko. This is something we've never really seen before, Junko actually planning and scheming her despair. While I can't say I think her plan is perfect by any means, this is something that we never got in the games. Junko just being Junko.
The other of the Despair sisters, the smelly one. And so the event, which would later bone the whole world.
You're a god among insects, Kamakura! Of course you're bored! The world's an ant farm! I just made that up! Boy, I'm a hooker for innuendo at an appropriate time! Kamakura, yes, queen!
We are never gonna let that die! But the best thing about Future Arc is hands down the development they give to Makoto. This is where I'm going to slap on the spoiler warning, so skip ahead if you don't want spoilers. Now, we've been with Makoto for a whole game and a partial second game, but there was still so much they expanded on with him. It really kicked into gear when Kyoko died. There was a scene that sums up everything a person needs to know about Makoto Naegi perfectly. He heads down a hall to meet Munakata, trying to stop his tears from falling and pull himself together. He walks past a dead body, only to realize that his legs are shaking and he's struggling to move. He gives his legs a smack and gets himself going again. It's such a well-done scene and gets across how much Makoto has developed, but also gets across the fact that these horrible things still affect him. despite all that, he's still willing to sacrifice himself when they test out Kyoko's theory about the monitors having something to do with all the deaths. The scene where Makoto is forced to watch Junko's brainwashing video is both chilling and heartbreaking. He's carried this guilt and these deaths with him since the very first one. But he knew that it was going to be a hard road. He decided to carry these deaths with him rather than just completely move on. Their deaths are what drives him. That is why Makoto is such a fantastic character. But this brainwashing video was also used as a tool to destroy probably the best new character. Yukizome is taken by Junko and is one of the first victims submitted to test the influence of the video. Now, I understand the brainwashing video is meant to fill the victim with complete and total despair, but this completely eradicates Yukizome's personality. She was a kind and caring person who would do anything for her students and Munakata. At least with the other students, they still had remnants of their personality. It would have been interesting if she blacked out or was unaware of when she was committing these acts, but once it's revealed that she was totally aware of everything that she was doing, it almost undermines everything about her character. Honestly, the brainwashing video itself is kind of disappointing. The games built Junko to be this master of despair, someone who can manipulate anyone and get into their head. She's not even the one who makes the video. It's this little weenie here, Ryota Mitarai. Now, it is very Junko to have her manipulate someone into committing her dirty work, but Mitarai doesn't even fall to despair. He's just a pathetic creature that's more concerned with self-preservation. Oh, and I could go on about this guy for a very long time, but this review is running a bit long as it is. So, what are my final thoughts on the series? Well, as a fan, I have several conflicting feelings about my opinion. Parts of it totally frustrate me and seem like it was contradictory or just flat out lazy in terms of how it ties into the overall story. Some of the new characters didn't serve any purpose outside of, please die now, while others were written very well but then undermined by something else. But at the same time, so many things are done so right. Some of the new characters are super engaging, it developed some of the old characters very well, and it even showed Junko doing what she does best, being a despair-ridden psycho bitch. I certainly think the things that work outweigh the things that don't work. If you're interested in checking out Danganronpa 3, The End of Hope's Peak Future, and Despair arcs, you can order the DVDs now on the Funimation store at Funimation.com. Now, there's quite a few things I didn't touch on, like the full ending of the series called Hope Arc. If you guys are interested to know my thoughts about that, let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to talk about that too.
Thanks everybody for watching our review. If you wish to keep up to date with Anime America events, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even Tumblr. If you want to support this channel, be sure to click on the notification bell to keep up with our video uploads, as well as liking this video and sharing it on any social media platform you choose. If you wish to support us financially, we have a Patreon page with numerous rewards to fit your budget, as well as sell posters on Store Envy and t-shirts on Teespring. Don't forget to subscribe to Anime America for more awesome reviews and top 10 lists. We also have a sister channel called Pop Spectrum, where we review anything in pop culture. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned to Anime America.